to Sharien Muhammad More Awareness Now Symposium. We are here to bring awareness to the community of family, business, and parenting. Today, we're going to be dealing with how to give birth to a business. We're going to interview a few business owners who will share with us how they actually gave birth to their business. We'll talk about the conception process. We'll talk about the process of incubation and that whole period and what you do and how you bring your ideas into fruition. We'll speak about finances and how you can develop the finances that you need to actually bring your dream into reality. So why don't we just get started? Brother Patrick. We welcome Brother Patrick. Brother Patrick has an entity or an enterprise, a business, and he will come and share with us how he brought that into fruition.
Good day, how are you?
I'm wonderful, how are you?
I'm excellent.
So, I heard a lot about you, and I've actually had the opportunity to work with you. And I'm so excited about that opportunity as my first book here, Why I Wear My Headpiece, was published, praise be to Allah, was published by your publishing company. And I really admire the way, you know, from what I know of how you got started in terms of going in business for yourself. You know, after being a principal, or actually you started when you were assistant principal, now you're a principal, and then you just launched out there and went out there and did something for yourself. Tell us a little bit about the whole idea of conceiving this business.
I was raised in East St. Louis by two entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And, as we described ourselves, we were the entrepreneurial version of the Huxtables. So our family, my parents did very well, but I didn't know how they did what they did. I just knew that they didn't clock in.
Okay.
My mother, cosmetologist for the past 35 plus years, and my father owned a trucking company. And so I was used to being able to see them turn nothing into something instantly. And I give just one example. My father, with his trucking company, they were building the St. Louis Rams Stadium. And he brought this big dump truck home full of this pipe, and he dumped it in the backyard. And you know, my friends would tease me, man, your daddy brought some more junk, dumped it over your house. Well, he put it behind the garage. It was a dump truck full of this metal pipe. Now, I'm only 14 years old. And so my dad said, well, right there, son, is all your money for the summer. And I'm thinking, like, money for the summer?
He pointed to the dump truck.
Right. And so the first Saturday, he said, okay, Pat, let's go get an 8-foot slab, an 8-foot section of the pipe. So we got the 8-foot section, and then we put it in the driveway. We had to bang it out to get it straight. Then he took an axe, and he took and split the pipe. He took out this wire, had this paper on it, put it in a little bin, and he set it on fire. And I'm thinking, like, man, my dad, I love my dad, but Dad losing it right now. Well, after we set it on fire, and there was a wire there, then we took the wire, put it back in his pickup truck, and went to the recycling place, and he pushed it on up there, and the man gave me back $800. I said, wait a minute. I said, can we go cut some more? So I was able to, as a young man, see how to make money without clocking in. So if I needed a raise, I cut 2 8-foot pipes on a Saturday. If I needed to go out and, you know, buy my car, I cut 4, and I was able to buy a car at 15 years old. But they showed me that in the process of becoming an entrepreneur and birthing a business, sometimes it has to be non-conventional.
Okay.
Oftentimes we'll go to the Small Business Association, we'll go to some of these seminars, and they'll give us a false reality of what really needs to be done. And so we'll spend years and years and years chasing their version of our business and not spending time to develop what's already within. And so desires, we call desire feeds the will. So my publishing company was birthed as an author that wanted to get my book out. And once I got my first one out, little librarian girl, and my sister wanted to get hers out. My forever airplane, and her friend wanted to get hers out, or walk on the water. And I said, wait a minute, we might need to formulate a company. And in that process, I had to study the publishing industry.
Excellent.
And so today we have 270 authors.
Okay.
So I didn't go to a publishing university. I didn't go to all these trade shows to learn what others have done. I just looked to the God within and was able to pull on some friends that had expertise in the area and have the success we have today. But let me say this part.
Okay.
All of the business I started with no money. I didn't pay my dad to bring those pipes.
Excellent.
That was something that when my dad was working, they were throwing away. So we turned that into money. I was buying items on eBay, but then I realized if I was buying it on eBay, somebody sold it to me. So I began to go around the house and found some items and sold those items on eBay, and now I have an eBay business.
Okay.
So don't wait for that $1 million loan to start your reality.
Excellent.
If you really desire it and you have the wherewithal to follow all the way through, then you can be successful with just applying what's already there.
Excellent. Now you bring up a ton of points. One I start with is the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, or raise up or train up your child in the direction you want it to go, and they will not depart from that. So when I hear you speak about your family and the example that they gave you, and how you went forth and kind of returned to that, because at some point you did go and get some training. And so that's the other point, in that no, it's not necessary to get a degree in that specific thing, or you have to learn this or that, but you have to learn something.
You have to learn.
And so you did learn how to read and write.
Yes. Early on in life.
Yes.
Step one.
And I tell you,
Okay, go ahead.
I'll tell you why that's important. My father, and I always reference my father and my father-in-law, two dynamic men that helped shape the life that my mother birthed into this world. My father taught me that you should have income A, B, C, and D.
Excellent.
What happens to us is we spend so much time getting income A that it clouds our vision to even see there's a B, there's a C, and there's a D. So Dad taught me that D should be trying to knock out C.
Okay.
And C should be trying to knock out B, and B should be trying to knock out A. So my publishing business is really trying to knock out my principal job.
Okay.
But I have the principal job to sustain myself.
Excellent.
Sometimes we'll jump to C and don't have a B and an A.
Right.
Okay? So my speaking might be C, but it's trying to knock out the publishing.
Excellent.
If we don't put that in place, then we will be brokepreneurs. Okay? We'll be saying we're broke. So you got to get an A.
Got it.
But don't, the messenger taught us to steal away program. Not walk away, not jump away, not suicide.
Now, where did you read that?
I read that in Message to the Black Man.
Praise be to Allah.
Steal away program. So while you're there, you're stealing some away from income A for B. To get B up so B can kind of steal the spot from A.
Right.
Another thing is, my father-in-law taught me the only thing in life that's embarrassing is something that no one else on the planet has ever gone through. Okay? So if I'm driving down 285 and a meteorite, slams my car and knocks me off the road, and I land on Cascade, upside down, and I'm all orange and blue from the radiation, I should be embarrassed. But if I lose a car, lose a house, lose a job, lose some money, I shouldn't be embarrassed, because that has happened to everyone else. So my father, again, taught me always buy things of value, because anytime you need money, you can go back to those things and finance whatever you need. So he taught us about the best gold when you buy gold. He taught us about the best cars when you buy cars. He taught us about the best house when you buy a house. So that if you ever need something, maybe to start income D, you can pull from those things that have value. And now you take that and you're able to enrich your life. So there's a lot of principles that I have learned that it takes time for the seed to go down before it comes up. And I never knew those things when they put it into me early on. So I would say, don't be a brokepreneur. You know, don't sacrifice everything and jump out of the boat early on. You know, take some
Before
time.
you learn how to swim.
You know, study a little bit. You know, so that you can sustain yourself. And as you're sustaining yourself, when that dream to be whatever the business, that dream to do it, as you're working on it, now it's not so much a dream, it's getting closer to a reality. And as it gets closer to a reality, now your income, your main job, you can spend a little less time and energy on it because you know I have a realistic business that's driving my finance and demanding my time. So now you know if you put the full steam behind it, then you should definitely be able to sustain yourself.
Now, isn't he a dynamic individual?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Excellent. I really appreciate you coming on the show to share with us. You know, there's a couple of things that jump out at me as you speak. And you speak about your family in the example, and I mentioned that earlier. And I'm thinking about that individual who does not have that example present in their lives. What advice do you have for them who's looking for a way to do something that they have not seen?
Excellent question. I tell you, with technology is great. And I have always been one that I might not quote unquote say I have a mentor, but I study those afar and I study those up close. Okay, so I would initially say, yes, my father was in the home. I can't claim the absenteeism of the father. I grew up in a two-parent home. I grew up in the hood, but I didn't know what poverty was. The lights were on when I came home. I don't know what Daddy did to keep them on, but they was there. I can't remember not having food, so I can't claim those. But I grew up in the murder capital.
Okay. Which
is
where?
East St. Louis, Illinois.
Oh.
Okay. And you have to make sure you capitalize that.
Yes.
But I said that to say you can study individuals without them even knowing you're studying them. And then if you pattern yourself after successful people, then success might be right in front of you. You just have to reach out and grab it. I'll give you an example. There's a gentleman now, I don't even know this gentleman other than someone turned me on to his YouTube channel named Eric Thomas.
Okay.
And he does something, thank God it's Monday. I'm sure I just gave him a plug, but it's okay.
It's okay.
And I have been watching his Thank God It's Monday and studying some of his presentations and the energy level that he gives to his audience, and I appreciate it because it has inspired me. Now, do I need to meet him personally and sit down with him for 7 hours? No, I can study him from afar and then see what attributes, what characteristics that I have that I can exude to my audience when I present. Another is the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. I've met him, yes, a couple of times, but not where it's a sit-down session for 5 hours.
Right.
But just studying him from afar and seeing how he manages the affairs of millions of people, I can take attributes from him that I might believe are in me and then begin to develop it. So, if your business is, you want to go into the restaurant business, I would say go to the restaurants that you see are most successful and then study the aspects of the restaurant to see what you have already mastered and then what you have not mastered. If you want to have a clothing store or a bookstore or develop a clothing line, study those who are successful. Okay? So there's a teaching from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that says, study the white man for his successful, and he makes no excuses for his failure.
That's right.
Now you say, I thought you guys said the white man is the devil. You missed the aspect of the teaching that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us. He said, study him, for he is successful, and he makes no excuses for his failure. We live off our failures. Man, I tried that, that didn't work.
Absolutely.
And that becomes our conversation of the day. No, when you fail, if you fail over a hurdle, you start over and jump over it again. But when you jump over, your legs get stronger to be able to accomplish the next hurdle. Now, in success, the hurdles get higher. But the more you overcome, the stronger your legs get. And then the fear factor is removed. And that's where I'll end with this. Fear robs us of creativity.
Absolutely.
Fear robs us of the opportunity to take the risk. Fear robs us of the opportunity to put money in our pockets.
Fear paralyzes.
Fear paralyzes. So if I have an idea, I immediately call Jaheed.
He's actually my next interview.
Well, it's excellent because you have to have someone that you bounce your ideas off of, not so much for them to validate it, but when you have colleagues that are in your corner, then they can give you advice that will lead you in the right direction, or even help you to stabilize the ship as you're going through the current and the birth of bringing something to reality. So sometimes I have an idea, I bounce it off.
Okay.
Just to see if it makes sense. If it makes sense, then I know I need to go full steam ahead. If it doesn't make sense, you have to have true friends in your corner that will say, no, you cannot wear black on black at midnight, brother. You fit all the descriptions of the next 6 cycles of news. If you wear black on black, you have to have someone that's honest enough and sincere enough that's not going to cut your legs from under you and knock the wind out of you, but can say, I think it might be a different way to do that. So I would say fear, and then having sincere people around you that have your best interest at heart. So dad doesn't have to be there.
Right.
Mom doesn't have to be there. The mentor does not have to be sitting in your living room. Pick up a book. If you want to learn something, pick up a book. There's so much in the books that these gurus will give you every secret. If you read it, internalize it, then apply it. But you have to be willing to do some of the legwork.
And it sounds like what you're saying is you create the family that you need to have to develop what it is that you need to develop. So as you go through this concept of and visualizing the conceptualization of an idea, you know, it's like when you look into finding a mate. You're looking for that person that can help you bring into fruition the family life that you're trying to bring. So excellent.
And I leave you with this. There's I can't think of which staff writer it is, but there's a staff writer that wrote something through this last election I thought was powerful. He said that President Obama creates his own luck. So somebody, oh man, he's lucky, he's lucky. No, behind the scenes, he's doing so much work that he creates what people look at as luck, but they don't know the work he's put behind it to make it a reality. So to us, it's luck, but to him, it's the fruit of my work. So if you put in the time and the effort, yes, I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm reading and studying websites and studying presentations. And I might be tired during the day.
Right.
But I know if I put this work into, it's going to pay off at some other point. So you have to be willing to do that. And I think if you do that, success, as I said, is right in front of you. All you have to do is reach out and grab it.
Excellent. I think you've given the audience some good tools. You know, one, looking at what's happening behind the scenes. Because a lot of our youth, I work with youth primarily, and a lot of them, you know, they're so caught up in the, what is the icon, you know, that picture that's before you. And this is what I want to be. I want to be that picture. I don't know what is behind the picture. I don't know how that picture even got to even be suggested to take, you know, and I think I can just do that. So you ask them, well, what is it that you want to do? They have all these, you know, grandeur ideas of what they want to do, but they have no idea and no action plan to carry them through that idea. Not only do they not know, but their parents do not know, which is what gave birth to More Awareness Now. To bring awareness to us as parents to say, this is how you know, like the minister said, Joe Jackson had a purpose for his children. So when he was rearing them, he was preparing them for the stardom that they have today. So, you know, and what he missed is what they lack, but many people would want to be in those shoes.
Their lack is worth more than a lot.
Exactly. So he had that deep sense of purpose for his children. So as you went forth to do what it was that you wanted to do, did you have a idea of what your purpose was, or did you just sort of fall into who you are today?
Someone had a purpose. and I would just give the credit to the higher power having the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then those I interacted to became the vessels who refined the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But all of our lives have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And every day that we get, there's a purpose-filled life,
Mm-hmm.
a purpose-filled day
Mm-hmm.
given to us by the one who gave us our ultimate purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So every day that you get is another opportunity to get it right.
Correct.
And I'll say in my development,
Mm-hmm.
the path has not always been clear,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but there's always been a path.
Excellent.
And working, not I won't say feverishly, working to clear the path
Mm-hmm.
is the drive that motivates me. Because I know there's success at the end. I have no doubt in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that everything I've touched has turned to gold, but I've seen the blessing so much
Mm-hmm.
that I don't fear going through an obstacle-ridden path.
Okay.
Whatever is there, it's okay. I know if I'm gonna get stuck by the thorns, I might trip over something, it might be, but I know it's okay.
And what convinced you of that? What would you attribute your faith to? And I'm not just meaning, religious faith,
Mhm.
but your faith and confidence in knowing that if I go through it, I
It's-
will get to it.
And again, I'll say I think it's the removal of fear, but I honestly believe not spookily, not magic, scratch lottery ticket type.
Mm-hmm.
I know that as long as I keep moving in the direction that I feel the wind behind me pushing,
Okay.
I'm gonna be successful.
So you have to be in tune.
You have to be in tune, and I love God, and I believe God loves me.
Alhamdulillah.
So I really don't, there's there's not an obstacle that I think someone can put in front of me
Mhm.
that I'm not willing to jump over.
Excellent.
And I'll say this. If we are sincere
Mm-hmm.
and we treat people right,
Mm-hmm.
God is obligated to bless us. And I tell you, I heard someone say that you can force God to give you another blessing by doing right.
Go on, because
So,
it's promise, right?
When I heard that, it was kind of like, if I keep doing
Woo,
right.
that's powerful.
So, I don't take it for granted when I go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if I go to sleep, I'm going to get up.
Praise be to Allah.
Because, when you're in tune with him, he'll tell you when his time is up.
Right.
But I don't go to sleep feeling that he's saying my time is up. I go to sleep saying, man, Pat, I got more work for you to do.
Come on.
So keep on going. And that's the drive that we have to have. But I want to say this. Lil Wayne, Kobe, Jay-Z, Colin Powell, Barack Obama,
Yeah,
Donna Brazile.
Mm-hmm.
See, we see them in their semi-finished product.
Right.
But the All-Star game was yesterday. I guarantee Kobe in the gym right now.
That's right.
Lil Wayne put out, you listen to that one song, but he did 150 songs
To get to that
one
Excellent,
song.
excellent.
So some of our youth see you at the finish line, but don't know what it looked like at the starting line. And that's what we have to...
even to get to the start.
To even get, and that's what we have to
Mm-hmm.
put in our more awareness now in our children. I had the
That's right.
honor of training with Jackie Joyner
Excellent.
in high school. Not because she came to train with Patrick, but the high school we went to was the same one, so she's coming back. And I'm training with an Olympic athlete running drills in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw her on TV, winning a gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
She's from the same place I'm from. She could be my mentor. She ain't got to know my name. She got to know my address. But I've seen her attain a level of success, and I believe God is just. See, my problem is I believe God is fair.
Mm.
He didn't give you more than he gave me. If he wouldn't be God.
Would you identify that as a problem or as a blessing to recognize?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I don't see, if I see someone, I don't see President Obama had a bigger blessing from God than I got.
Excellent.
He came through the sea, he birthed the same way, okay? So when I see his success, I don't get jealous. I don't get envious. I get hope.
That's like greater things.
Man, wow, dude. I like the way the Beast is, the Cardi. I can see myself in the Beast one day.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be the president, but I can see that Cadillac limo with the armor and all that guy. I see it.
Right.
And know I have to do what I have to do behind it to get to that point. So if we can instill that in our children,
Excellent.
to remove fear from them. And then we can instill in our children, just live a purpose-filled life. If you do nothing but be the person known to help old ladies across the street on Cascade, be the best old lady helper you can be.
Excellent.
And at some point, God will bless you from your works. And then we'll say, what happened to brother? Oh man, he got moved to D.C. to be the old lady helper.
Right.
From the Capitol to the White House. You know, those things will happen.
Or move to Chicago.
Or move to Chicago. But more, I appreciate your desire,
yes, sir,
to help the youth and give them more awareness now. Because if we don't, this generation that has been birthed, this generation that we are witnessing, is a generation that will remove evil from the planet and remove us at the same time.
That's excellent.
So either we will stand behind them and guide them, and stand beside them and guide and mold them, or we'll stand in their way and they will roll over us. So,
and you said it right behind them. We reared our children.
Right.
We reared them.
Right.
So that was correct. So, you know,
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
May Allah bless you.
Likewise.
And I appreciate you for coming on. I appreciate you sharing. It was beautiful. I feel all the confidence that the audience will learn something from what you had to share.
And I pray and hope that what I said will benefit them and me. And I'll leave you with my motto. Remember, the only way to achieve success is to reach back and take someone with you.
Excellent.
As long as we keep doing that.
But you know, I have one last question.
You said that.
Yes, the children. I did.
Questions.
But when you mentioned the children,
Okay.
when you mentioned them, you know, it made me think about, you talked about instilling in them the drive, the faith, and all of that. It made me think about criticism versus praise. And one of the things that I find with us is the criticism over praise. And we have a difficult time praising our children. It's easy for us to criticize the milk spilt and talk about it all day to all of our friends, and you know, and then when it comes to something great, oh, great job. What would you say to
There's
that?
a saying that says, those that correct you love you. Those who lead you in error care nothing about you. My mother never came to my basketball games. But that didn't mean that she didn't love me.
Right.
Mom was working. And Dad was at all the games. Because there's a certain level of pride to see your man out there. But Mom not coming was not her not approving of me doing what I was doing. She just took more time to make sure I had that meal in my stomach before I went, and made sure I got a warm embrace when I came home. And they didn't have to whoop me all the time. My dad smacked me one time, but that smack lasted me the last 30 years. And I tell you why.
He slapped you from head to kingdom.
Yeah, he slapped me real good. He slapped me real good. It was a good slap too. Backhand, wide open.
Head to kingdom come.
Yeah, I felt that. I got a little hickey on the side of my head now. But that slap was more not criticism or praise, but it was from the fact that at that moment I disappointed him. And the fact that I, as a son or a child of my parents, disappointed them was more impactful on my life than any criticism or praise anyone could give me. And so when we instill in our children that we have a certain level of pride and success and pleasing that they should get to, then when they don't meet that mark, it's more impactful than anything else. So I don't have to whoop my children. But if I tell my children, man, that did not make Dad happy, that's more painful to them than any belt, any switch. But it comes from giving birth to them and shaping them at an early age to know that these are your parents, that you should be living this life to make proud. And once you have them that way, you can take a 6'9" son that you can't physically handle him anymore. But if he knows he disappointed you, then he would truly come full circle. Might not be instantly, but he'll come back and say, I don't want to disappoint my mother again. So I wouldn't lean so much on criticism I wouldn't lean so much on praise, because praise out of season is deadly. You know, and criticism out of season is just as deadly. There's something called truth and timely truth.
Right.
You know, you can tell your child you're adopted, you know, when they're 21, they're mature, or you can tell them at their 8th birthday when they spill the cake.
Right.
That's, I can't, you're an adopted child. Nobody would adopt you. True.
Right.
But is it timely truth?
No.
It's not.
Right.
So we shouldn't criticize. We should correct. If we correct with love, then it would fall at the right place that it's supposed to.
It's about balance.
It's definitely about balance. Definitely about balance. And our children, this generation is so spoiled that all they want is praise.
Oh, I see.
So, you know, if you're not praising them, the moment you give them something critical, then they just all messed up because they can't handle it now. And that's why you see them going off and doing the crazy things that I wouldn't want to mention. But some of our children, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. So we have a whole another level of emotions that affect our business, affect our success, and affect our future that you'll have to deal with.
Right. Well, again, I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Much success.
Much success to you. The More Awareness Now show.
Okay.
We're supposed to have a hand clap. Everybody
Great work. Great.
See, I forgot to say something about time.
All right, you can go back to the
Oh, okay, excellent. So we bring up our next presenter and or our next interviewee, Brother Jahi Muhammad, and he also has an enterprise of a slew of businesses, and so we would like to hear from him and how his business got started. And as we know, there's different stories or different pathways to get to where you want to get to. So let's bring on Jahi Muhammad.
Greetings.
Greetings. Wow, make it happen in 90 days.
That's what we do.
That's what you do.
Yes.
Wonderful,
yes.
wonderful. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the birthing process of Make It Happen in 90 Days. Is that your business, or is that one of your programs?
Well, first of all, let me say I'm honored to be a part of the More Awareness Now TV show and broadcast program, and be a part of this dynamic program that you're putting together, how to give birth to your business. For your question, how to make it happen in 90 days, which is the book that I have, it's a program.
Okay.
And the program was birthed from my 14, 15 years of traveling around the country, doing seminars, basically teaching people how to get along better with each other. But in those seminars, I'm also finding people are asking questions about, well, I want to do what you do. I want to be on the speaking circuit. I want to do training. I want to do X, Y, Z. What do you know about that? So I would offer the little insight that I had into whatever field that they said they wanted to get into. So at a juncture, I said, okay, well, I need to write a book about it. Not a book about it, but a guide on some steps to take in order to bring forth that dynamic idea that person had. So henceforth, 3 years ago, as a matter of fact, 3 years ago, this month, this book I gave birth to.
Okay.
Gave birth to this book, which is part of the How to Make It Happen, the Follow Our World Mastermind program.
I'm glad you mentioned Follow Our World.
Yes.
Is that your first business?
No, Follow Worldwide was not my first business, but it's the one that I have nurtured the longest. Follow Worldwide came about in 1997.
Okay.
And so I've had it, been nurturing it ever since. And again, relating it to the title of your program today, how to give birth to a business, to your business. It came about from, I didn't expect it.
Okay.
I am thinking about the word birth.
Okay.
Because the seed is already planted. And as we all know, and we're grown, we're adults, we know that baby can only stay in the mother for 9 months.
Right.
But then it has to come out. Otherwise, it's going to kill the baby and the mother if it
Right.
stays in there too long.
That's
So
right.
giving birth, that idea was planted in me, albeit I didn't really know it.
Okay.
But circumstances and condition helped me to bring it forth.
Okay.
Hence giving birth to Falah Worldwide. We were always asked to do favors for people.
Okay.
Reading or doing the paperwork for different things. And I shared this with a colleague recently, is that I had another business.
Right.
I owned a candy store. I was a candy man.
Candy man.
For about 5 years. I was a
Okay.
candy man. So in retail, as a lot of people know, there's a lot of downtime, especially during the daytime. And so I would always read.
Okay.
And people within the mall area, they would come by my store, they would see me reading, and they thought I knew something.
Okay.
So, because they would always see me reading, so they would ask me, well, Jahi, do you know how to do X, Y, Z? I would look at it, like, oh yeah, all you got to do is X, da, 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 da. And can you do that for me? Yeah, I do that for you. I would go, file the necessary paperwork, do whatever it was that they didn't understand to do, come back, and they'll pay me for it. I'm like, oh, wow. And the word started getting out.
Okay.
So they would tell their colleagues or their friends, well, go to Jahi, he can do this for you. So that's how Falah Worldwide
Came about.
came about.
Now, how did you even start? So, was the candy store the first business?
No, the candy store is not.
Okay, so let's get down to the beginning of
Let's see the
doing for
first,
self.
Doing for self.
Because prior to that, you were doing what?
I was in car sales
Okay.
prior to that. But even before car sales, I always had an affinity for doing for self.
Okay.
And this was long before I ever read Message to the Black Man or any of the other works of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or even heard of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan about doing for self.
Okay.
Again, back to the word birth.
Okay.
The seed was in me, and I
Okay.
guess it was planted, and hearing my esteemed colleague and business partner, Patrick Muhammad, that came up before me, and I was thinking, going back to a childhood, my father was an entrepreneur. Albeit I didn't really know him that way. He passed when I was very young, but I heard the stories growing up in the motherland where I'm from,
Okay.
Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
So
Motherland.
he was a very well-known businessman there. So I guess that seed was planted.
Okay.
So everything I ever did, even when I worked a job, I'm always thinking, okay, what can I do from this job that I can do on my own? And over time, I got into sales, and it did very well at it. Car sales, did very well at it. But even then, I'm thinking, okay, this is not a career for me. This is not. I won't be here 25 years like one of my other colleagues that I sold cars with. No, definitely not. And circumstances arose whereby, just like with, and I heard Minister Farrakhan say this recently in the series, The Time of What Must Be Done, that when giving birth, at a certain time, that baby is pushed out. So let's just say I was pushed out of that circumstance, of that job.
Did you come out crying?
No, I was relieved. I was relieved because I think so often a lot of us have the idea, that is the seed of what we want to do. But we get into a dangerous situation, which is called comfortability. You know, as long as I show up, I knew every month on the dealership I'm gonna sell 10 to 12 cars. That would help me take care of my townhouse, pay my car note, you know, live pretty well. And that took minimal effort for me to do that. So you get comfortable doing that. But when you get comfortable, it does not push you to reach greater heights, and especially to bring forth or to birth that idea that is sitting within you, that is nurturing within you. So, as I said, circumstances pushed me out of that industry, and I was relieved because I should have been gone months earlier.
So for those who are feeling pushed,
yes,
just go on out. Just go ahead and
you
allow yourself to be pushed out.
Well, I would say that because no, Patrick said something very critical a few moments ago.
He did.
We're taught to steal away.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know anything about stealing away at the time. I always jumped out, got pushed out, or was run out. But if you can steal away, so you have a business now, or you're working, you have a job now, fantastic. There's 23 hours, 56 minutes, 46 seconds in every day that the Creator gives us. We work 8 to 10, probably 12 hours a day on our jobs. But if there's an idea that's gnawing at you, there's something that you know you just got to do, you must, that's step number 1 in giving birth. You must allocate some time to it. If it's 15 minutes a day, you sitting at the cubicle, even if you work on a job, you get a lunch break.
That's right.
And you get 2 smoke breaks, I believe. When I worked for somebody, there was a smoke break. And it was funny, I heard this one person say, I don't even smoke. But when my co-workers take their 15-minute smoke break, I'm taking my break as well. So, but you don't have to go smoke.
That's right.
You go to another area. Everybody has a tablet nowadays. You got your tablet, got your iPad, or whatever you use, because you may not want to use the company computer. I would suggest that. Don't put yourself in jeopardy beforehand. But set aside that 15 minutes to work your plan.
That's right.
Lunch break. You know, do your lunch if you do lunch, but do it quickly. And you don't have to eat so much either. If you got a 30-minute lunch break, take 10 minutes to drink something or to eat. And then take the other 20 minutes to work your plan.
Excellent.
Whatever it is, look up information, send out emails, make a phone call or two to someone that can help further your plan. I have a young lady now that I'm working with as one of the members of the Falal World Mastermind Group.
You talking about Sharien Muhammad?
Another young lady. Another young lady. And she has a job, and every day I send her a text message. What have you done for your business today?
Excellent.
Every day, right around, she takes late lunches right around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Send her a text message. What have you done for your business today? So she'll hit me back, haven't done anything yet, but then at the end of the day, she'll text me, okay, I made 2 phone calls or such and such. Okay, fantastic. That's all. That's part of the Still Away program.
Excellent.
What we must, just like feeding that baby that's inside the mother has to nurture that baby. So we have to feed that desire. Patrick said it. The desire feeds the will. So, and like I said, whether we have a business of something else that we're doing, or we're working a job, or there's something else we want to do, we have to feed that. In feeding it, we're also searching for information, searching for people that may be doing something similar. All of us like to share our successes, stories with other people. So those people that are doing something similar to what you want to do, I think Patrick used the example of having a restaurant, or you want to be in the speaking business. You can talk to any speaker, anybody that's in the speaking business, and get some pointers on what to do, how they got started. Like I said, that's how the book came about, because as I was traveling around the country doing seminars and presentations, someone would always come up to me, well, how did you get into this? And I would share the steps with them that I took.
Excellent. One of the things that I have burning to get out, and that is the whole concept of pooling your resources.
Yes, yes.
You know, we talk about do for self, and it can give the notion that for self means by myself, for me, just me, not the self that includes self, family, community, nation, right? So when we talk about doing for self, how do we bring in that concept of pooling resources, and what is the advantage of not being independent but being dependent and relying upon the success or the gifts and talents that others bring to the table?
Wonderful. Let me start out by saying this. I do team building workshops. And one of the stories that I share in the team building workshops is that of the goose.
Okay.
If you've ever seen geese fly, you see them in what? A V formation. You see a lot of them. What those that study birds found out, I think it's, what's it called? Ornithologists, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but those who study birds found out that the geese, when they fly together, they get 70% farther in their destination than they would if they flew by themselves. So, back to your question, pooling our resources. Pooling the resources is having alliances and collaborations with other people that could be directly in your business, or they could be complements to that what you want to do. And the reason that we want them around us, we need it, is just as the story with the geese. We can get further. If I can't do everything, you can't do everything. No one in here can do everything by themselves. You can do a lot by yourself, but not everything. So we want to get further in our destination, then we can incorporate other people to help complement what we're doing. And that gives us energy. As Patrick mentioned, when he has an idea for something, he'll call me up or text me, and we'll bounce ideas off each other. I do the same thing. I have a core group of 5 people that 90% of the things that I'm doing, I shoot them out a text message or I give them a call. Like, look, this is what I'm thinking. And I always preface this. You've heard me say this.
Right.
I have a thought.
Right.
I have a thought.
Right,
And I qualify that because I heard Mr. Farrakhan teach one time that an idea is a collection of thoughts. It could be my collection of thoughts added with your collection of thoughts, added with your collection of thoughts. Now we begin to concretize an idea, and then we can move out on that idea.
Excellent.
The idea is like the fetus. The thought is like the clot. So it's underdeveloped.
Okay.
The idea is we begin to develop the thought more firmly, more structurally. Begin to give it eyes, begin to give it a nose, arms, legs, a head. So now the brain, which is the center of the activity. So now we can move out. And there's a greater probability. I'm a statistician by training. So there's a greater probability of that idea coming into fruition. Absolutely.
Excellent.
So that is the benefit of doing for self, not by yourself. Is that we can and think about all of our other people ideas get incorporated, or thoughts get incorporated, turned into ideas. So that thing that I initially had in mind, it now can be greater because I've shared, I've incorporated, I've brought into my sphere others. And I would say this too, though. In pooling our resources, yes, we must, the political term, vet other people. You don't need everybody in your circle. Excellent. You don't need to share your thoughts with everyone. Excellent. I encourage those that are part of the Falah World Mastermind Group to cultivate, and that's what the Mastermind Group is. It's a collective of people with positive, spiritual, morally upright ideas or personas, so that if you want to share your thoughts within that circle, you know it's not going to be one of those antagonistic type of situations where your spirits are broken. We don't tolerate that. But within each of our personal circles, I encourage everyone to have you a core group of people around you that you can bounce your thoughts off of, share your thoughts without fear of some type of adverse or negative retribution.
Excellent.
And we all need that.
You know, what I'm thinking of is the cloud around resource.
Okay.
You know, like, what is resource? So you say pooling your resources, and you mentioned individuals and the talents of individuals. But if you had to list, these are things that you say, and you can take into consideration the businesses that you have given birth to and that you're bringing into fruition, or that are in fruition and you're maintaining and evolving them. You know, these businesses that you're evolving, what would you say are the list of resources that they depend on for life?
Okay, obviously number one is human resource.
Human, right.
Human, people.
Right.
Capital,
Mhm.
you need capital.
Mhm.
You must have it
Mhm.
in a business.
Right.
Now, whether or not you have enough capital
Mhm.
or the wherewithal to get what's needed to get started,
Mhm.
we can get into the details of that in another program, but you
Mhm.
have people, you have capital, equipment,
Excellent.
computer, fax machine,
Recording devices.
recording devices,
Mhm.
TVs,
Mhm.
whatever, we need those. There's certain things that you need. It depends on too what business. You're going into the construction business, yeah, you need some bulldozers,
Right.
some earth moving stuff. And if you can't afford to buy it outright, then you have to find ways to be able to finance it, to borrow somebody's or whatever. But you must have the proper tools at least to get started. It's funny, I was with one of my other business partners yesterday, Brother Leroy, and we ran across another brother who has a lawn service. And I like to say, like, he's real with his lawn service. He has like 15 lawnmowers, 5 blowers, you know,
I need to meet that
several
brother.
trucks. And I'm like, brother, you real with your business,
right?
right? He said, hey, you have to, and the point is, he used the analogy. He said, how you gonna say you are a construction worker and you show up with no hammer?
Right.
You know, I do drywall, but I have no hammer, I have no saw. You know, I have none of the basic tools that I need. So that's resources as well. You must have the tools. So those are the 3 that I can think of offhand. There may be more. Definitely humans, the money, and the basic tools. We don't necessarily have to have everything starting out, but
Right.
you must have the basics.
The basic.
And then you work your basics, turn over your capital, and begin to invest in so you can get the proper tools to make your business thrive, whatever that business is. The pooling of the resources. Oh, intrinsically or esoterically, again, back to the ideas. And the reason I mentioned that one is we started a business 2009.
Okay.
Myself and 3 other brothers. It started with a thought. One brother had the idea, he came to us, he said, look, there's a building down the street, we can get that space, it's gonna cost us X amount of dollars. And we listened, okay, yeah, that sounds good,